Ladies and gentlemen, the American jury and Bulldog Nation, I'm going to have to use a lot of restraint today to not lose it during this video and just start going nuts. So I'm going to keep it deliberate. But the bottom line is, do you know that everything that we thought was true about the COVID, the vaccinations, the lying to us, the lying to the government, the false reporting is true? And you know how I know that? Firsthand knowledge. I can't thank enough. We're way over 1,000. I can't thank enough the probably 1,200 and counting individuals in TriState Hospitals and around the state of Kentucky, Ohio, and the country who have sent me emails detailing what's going on. And this includes people that were managing the COVID inside these hospitals. I am honored that you're joining in this battle with me. And I want to announce at the outset, before I give the update, is this. I want all of you all to know that these hospitals are scared crapless. I'm telling you they are. I'll guarantee you they're saying all F Deters is involved. I guarantee it. And they're saying all F what you're doing because they know they've got huge problems. They are also beyond evil. Remember, these people, these corporate healthcare greedy people who sell their souls for money and country club memberships, they want you to choose the career you studied for, worked for all your life. They want you to give that up for a vaccine that's dangerous as hell. I'm educating myself. I'm catching up with all of you. And when they say information is valuable, it's also like, wow, eye-opening. And I want you to know my commitment to you is so great, both on the media side and the legal side, that I spoke to Glenn Fagan last night, and we are gearing up. And by the way, I wanted just to all other Deters law clients, the Durrani clients, we got you. We got that down. Every single day, our Durrani team fights like hell for that. Other cases, everything's handled. But I want to tell you something. We are hiring a whole group of lawyers, nurses, and staff people to take on this battle across the board, which I'm going to mention the details here in a minute. And remember, the defense is watching this, and that tickles me to death. They all follow me. We found this out in Durrani. All the hospital law firms and the hospitals follow everything I do on social media, to their chagrin. By the way, if you're someone who has sent me a email and you want to help, by the way, I don't expect you to volunteer. You want a paid job helping us put all this information together? Because there's a lot of information, but I'm on top of it. We're on top of it. By the way, I also apologize. If we've responded to one of your emails twice, we're sorry. It's because we just want to make sure we responded. But Sarah York and I have been responding to every freaking email. I think we have up to this point. And a group email is going out today. Folks, we're winning. We're winning. And don't forget, the Sainese protest, 5 o'clock to 7 o'clock tonight at Sainese, the front of their main building, main entrance. I'll be there with Bulldog Media. We're hiring reporters, have an interview at 11 o'clock. Also, I saw an interview with Channel 9 mentioned me. They wanted to interview me. I refused to interview with these folks because they will spin everything their way. By the way, any of you that want to do an interview on 5, 9, 12, 19, go ahead. But you watch, everything they do isn't going to be your way. Remember, 5, 9, 12, 19, the Inquirer, WLW, is owned by these hospitals. Owned by them. And Garrett Colvin, the Bulldogs coming, baby. Unfreaking believable. Also, we're posting all the Board of Trustees members of all the major tri-state hospitals. Think about that. Who they are. By the way, Joe Kester from Herzog's, okay, he owns Herzog's. Maybe he sold it by now. I don't know. Maybe his family took it over. But Herzog Jewelry, all you Sainese people, if you want to boycott a place, Herzog's and Fort Mitchell. check out each board member. What do they do? And boycott their place of business if they have a place of business. Think of the army that we got, folks. Think of the army. All right, here we go. Contracts. Very simple contracts being emailed to everybody that's contacted us. It's the most simple contract retaining Deters law you will ever want to do. And I want to stress this to you. It costs you nothing. Nothing. Doesn't cost you anything. It's self-explanatory. All of you are going to get an email with it. Number two, what's involved if you want to be a class rep? By the way, we have multiple people who have volunteered to be a class rep. And by the way, we can have more than one. So if you want to put your name on a lawsuit, this contract will have a place that you can check that box. Okay? But the bottom line is there's people ask what's involved. Nothing's really much involved with you being the class rep. The lawyers do all the work. But you're the representative if there needs to be a court appearance, things like that. It's just fun, to be candid with you. You'll have more fun. But we can have more than one class rep. I want as many people's names as possible. I've got people lined up. They're going to start drafting today. Lots of information to get in these lawsuits. But we're drafting them today. I'm also hiring experts. Talked to a doctor today. Thank you for sending me all this information. You all can be my paralegals. I'm a paralegal too. You can send out to all of these doctors and people and tell them to send me their resumes and contact information. We'll hire them. All these videos that you've sent me, the guy up in Indiana, we will hire all of these people for experts in our cause. All of them. And by the way, you're not going to believe what we're going to unleash upon all these people. All right. No temperature checks, I found out. At least one hospital says they stopped doing temperature checks. You know why? Because if a nurse was running a fever, they couldn't work. And they're so short of people, they didn't want any nurses to have a fever. Imagine that. See how you can control information? And it's why I'm telling you, folks, you stick together. They can't replace you. I've heard rumors that they're going to have some fast track hiring people from all. Folks, this is going around all. Do you think the TriState Hospitals can replace you like that? There's already an 8,000 shortage. They can't do it. We're hiring nurses. And by the way, even if you're just somebody that's really smart, you don't have to be a nurse. I got a job for you. We're going to hire an army. We got a lot of information to put together. I also want everybody to know, because people ask this, we are going to help all you students at all you colleges. We're going to jump in on the teachers. It's a different thing, but teachers. We're going to jump in on the military. We're going to help those big groups. It made me feel so good. I walked into Skyline Independence yesterday, and a teacher said, "Thank you for all you're doing for those nurses. We're going to need some help too." And I said, "Anything for you." By the way, I'm writing all kinds of books. The Butcher Pakistan's done, but I'm writing a book called Armed with a Righteous Cause, is the title of it. And when I'm armed with a righteous cause, look the hell out. The Durrani litigation was a righteous cause, still is. Netflix will be sharing that very soon, to their chagrin. But this is a righteous cause for these men and women. Unbelievable. Americans being forced to get vaxxed. Man, that doesn't rev me up. Nothing will rev me up. All right. Protests. Protests like hell. Keep it up. There's one at University, by the way, 4 to 7. I'm going to cover that some more on Wednesday. They're trying to organize one at St. E's, at Florence. I'm going to help. I'll help. And I'm going to send Bulldog Media. We will protest these till the cows come home. We're putting together a list of all the hospitals. Also, don't forget, folks, and I'm going to be emailing you this, a medical exemption just doesn't have to be medical. It can be psychological. Are you scared? Are you scared? You can see a psychologist, psychiatrist. They can prepare your medical exemption for you. Also, They might call this crazy. Always make sure you add you're a conscientious objector. Put that in there. I know that sounds very militant. Put that in there. By the way, I talked to somebody last night whose daughter is a doctor in this field, and this doctor thinks that the vax is caused the Delta variant that they're claiming. Because what happens is instead of just letting us all get herd immunity, it's adapting to the vax. The vax is what's causing the Delta variant. Interesting. Folks, the morale in these hospitals, you've been reporting, are terrible because they've divided the hospitals up. Vax and non-vax created a war, shame, and bullying inside these hospitals, just like America is racist, not racist, love America, hate America. They've done that to these hospitals. Shame, shame, shame. Threatening doctors. Are you ready for this? One hospital, at least, I guarantee this is going across the board, has told doctors in their groups, if you give medical exemptions, you're in trouble. Folks, that's why I said go outside your place of work. I coined a phrase, and I'm so proud of you. I coined a phrase. People that have followed me for a long time, I call it corporate slaves. What needs to stop is we got to stop being corporate slaves. I'm proud of all you healthcare workers. You're breaking away from your corporate slavehood. And by the way, this might be pretty bold. I don't care. I'm famous for bold. Virgil, fortune favors the bold. I want every hospital in the tri-state to know, because we're going to be working on this thing nonstop till Monday, is you know what you can do? Reverse course. If you're going to reverse course, you ought to call an emergency meeting of your board of trustees. By the way, folks, they can do this. You have to understand, I represented St. E's Hospital years and years ago. I know how it works. They need to call emergency meetings of board of trustees and say, we have to reverse course on this. This is going to be a disaster. Let's give them a deadline on Monday, because Monday we start filing. Point of no return. Actually, that's not the case. They can reverse course at any time, but they better reverse course before the hell really starts hitting them, right? It's not too late, hospitals. How it's going to work. We're going to file these lawsuits, and I know they've got these deadlines, but here's how it works. We're going to file these lawsuits and then file for injunctive relief to hold things off that will protect you from getting that shot till these decisions are made on these cases. They file a complaint, the big law firms file motions to dismiss, then we have a hearing, and we'll see what happens. That's the way it works. There is no question, if you have been vaccinated and you have had an adverse consequence of any kind of significance, email me at eric@ericdeters.com. I want to take cases also, the law firm does, of people who have had adverse consequences of vax, or you're having second thoughts after you got the vax. Why? I think that you each have a great case for lack of informed consent for getting that vax. And some of you got it under duress. So if you know anybody that regrets getting the vax, let me know. One hospital, by the way, I keep you all anonymous. I got a message today from somebody at a hospital that they gave vax to somebody who was a minor accidentally. Unbelievable. There's a lot of studies coming out of Germany and whatnot and other places about this protein issue that's building up in folks. The other thing. We also want to take cases, talk to Glenn about this. We're going to take any kind of case you got. By the way, if you got inside information of a actual patient name, it is not a violation of HIPAA for you to tell us the name of the patient so we can contact them. It's not. It's legal. You don't have to worry about that. But I want to share this with you. This is important. If you're somebody who has been rejected to have a health care procedure because you're not vaxxed, we want those cases too. In other words, there are people dying. We know this in the past year, have died because they didn't get health care procedures because they weren't vaxxed or COVID or whatever. That's going to be another part of this litigation. Do you see what we're doing? We're jumping in both freaking feet. We got the money, the resources, and everything else. I'm the most dangerous person in the world of these assholes. You know why? Because I'm rich and I don't give a damn. Conscious protections for healthcare providers. Put that in there. I've got that. The UC tomorrow, that protest, which is from 4 to 7, is going to be on Martin Luther King between Burnett and Eden. By the way, I saw where some nurses are going with masks on so they're not identified. By the way, if they fire you for protesting, you got to claim under your First Amendment right. I got to read this one. I got to read this one. I got to go through these. I want to make sure. I got to read this one. I am a medical coder. What can I tell you is that we are required to put the diagnosis code of COVID U07.1 is the primary diagnosis on all encounters, no matter what the patient is actually being treated for. That means it is absolutely true that if a gunshot wound is a reason for fatality and the patient happens to test positive for COVID, COVID will go on the death certificate as reason for death. So yes, the numbers are exaggerated. Usually if someone dies of the flu, they die of complications of the flu, and the complications will be the reasons for the death. So the flu is underreported in statistics. Our hospital doesn't seem to be overrun. And in fact, at the beginning of this madness, our urgent care staff was bored. Here's another one. Physicians are being told that if they give out exemptions to patients and are not on board with the vax, they could be looked at by their governing bodies and be sanctioned or be in trouble for doing that. Unfreaking believable. All these doctors, we posted them, who are on the board of directors of St. E's Physicians. You know them. You know them. In the actual board of trustees, I like shaming some of them. Some of these people, Chris Knuckleman, your Kenton County Judge Executive, is on the board of directors of St. Elizabeth Medical Center. Let's get a candidate. Let's get a candidate. Chris Knuckleman, the Kenton County Judge Executive, is doing this to you, St. E's. Roger Peterman, he's a bond lawyer. I always liked Roger. I don't know how you can protest Roger. Joe Kester, you can boycott Herzogs. I like that. But look at their names. You might know what some of these people do. I don't know what some of them do. Children's, little Mikey Fisher, who's retiring. Bunch of docs, trying to see if I know any of these. I can tell you this, on their board. By the way, Jane Portman was on their board. She didn't do anything to help Durrani victims. Elizabeth Stoutberg is a lawyer. Oh, man, you would not believe her role in the Durrani mess. Mark Janke, he's from Katz Teller. He's their new chairman. Lawyers. See how the corporate lawyers always are in on all this stuff. The corporate lawyers. I hate them. God, I hate them. Boy, I got so much reading to do. Oh, by the way, the court systems, by the way, are the most liberal folks they are. I'm just telling you, the court system, they're right down. They're going to require masks. All right. I think that's enough for today, isn't it? Ladies and gentlemen, the American jury and Bulldog Nation, I got you. And remember what I said in my first video. They can dog me all they want. They can say, I want to tell you right now, they fear me, and they fear you. Together, let's kick ass. You're the ground forces. I'll be your Air Force. This is the Bulldog. Every dog has their day. Let's have a great day.